Anybody could go in that park and be comfortable. You could tell what music a person listened to or what bands they followed by how they were dressed. And you'd see mohawks, and you'd see skinheads, and you'd see grunge. You don't have that much anymore.
It's location one, and it has an energy. And I guess it's always had an energy. It's always been super eclectic and weird.
Tompkins right away just became this place where it was easier to find people with common ground. Like, it still takes on this life outside of what a traditional skate park does.
It's downtown at that time, and there was so much magic. And I can only hope that everybody gets to experience a time like that.
People coming together, like just making something happen. Yeah, it technically belongs to the city, but it belongs to the people.
Well, I used to drink and do drugs, and I don't anymore. And I have a 5-year-old kid that I want nothing more than just to like kick it with him. Like on a Saturday, like take him to soccer or whatever is like my preferred thing I would do that day.
Yeah.
If I was coming to New York and I was going to hit up some, which I am today, like hitting up people to maybe link up, I just want to meet them at coffee, meet them at, maybe we could go get some food. Maybe we could sit at Tompkins on a bench and like shoot the shit. But I'm not trying to like figure out what party is happening tonight. I mean, of course not. Like, but I wouldn't even know where to start.
Yeah. Do you drink at all anymore?
No, I don't drink.
So you're completely sober. Nice. How long? How long?
It's been a long time.
Okay.
But I think in the book you can kind of see, or just in my life, either addiction or addiction manifesting in different ways. A lot of the energy I put toward like making the book happen or taking those pictures or going to 3 different parties in a night. If I'm working on an episode of my show, I'm just like, it's got to be perfect. It starts to be like all I think about.
Yeah.
Or if I'm working on a job or like anything, it becomes all I think about. Or even if I like get a video game, like I'm gonna fucking 100% this game.
So you would say you have an addictive personality.
Very much so.
And that just kind of, alcohol was just one part of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a symptom of how my brain works.
So you wouldn't say it was because of perhaps the era of time, also how much of skateboarding was that? It's like 50% or more of skateboarding was just hanging out, drinking and smoking and chilling, and and you're super young, you know what I mean? So you're not thinking about any type of consequence. You're thinking about now, and you're thinking about today. And what would you say about that?
Yeah, I was like a bad influence even on pros then. Because people would come to New York. I'd be like, I got this place in New York. I basically lived at 10th and A. I had roommates, Andy Henry and Sean Kelly. Maybe Leo Fitzpatrick, or I lived with Tino Razzo for a minute. I was like a bad influence. Like pros, like Spanky or Jerry or somebody would be like, yeah, let's go to New York and we'll skate. And then I'd be like, dude, we got to go to this party. We got to go to this party. We got to go to this party. And like, dudes would not get tricks when they were with me. So I was like, man, I think I'm like, I don't know if this is a bad influence, but sometimes you give someone the choice. Like, do you want to go drink tonight? Or do you want to like try to go get a clip?
What were you doing for money back then? What was your job?
I worked for Thrasher.
Okay. What would that entail?
I was on like a retainer. So I got sort of like a check every month from Thrasher, same time every month. And then if I was lucky, you'd shoot like an America ad or like a fucking like Thunder Trucks ad to like make some extra. And I had like roommates and stuff and lived nearby. And that was my job. Worked for Thrasher. And then I quit for no reason. I think I had just like an episode or something, which I wish I could have done it different. But what also happened was I started to get other interests, and I was started to be like picky about what trips I wanted to go on and stuff. Like Jake Phelps called me once and he was like, a lot of our photographers go on teams with lots of different companies and you only go with Baker and like America, and that's the only companies you travel with. And I was like, well, what do you want me to do? And he's like, I don't know. What did he say? He's like, I don't know, go on tour with Consolidated to the Bakersfield. And he was like fucking with me. But it was like, I basically was starting to get in trouble a little bit for like going under radar or not producing enough. And I wish, if I could go back, I wish I had just gone freelance. Like, how about this? Like, I'll just stay with Thrasher, but you just pay me when you use something, or take a pay cut or something, just so I could have, because I loved it. But I don't know. I just thought like all or nothing. And I got a job at Vice as a photo editor.
Was this at the same time as Thrasher?
This was, I quit basically and started working at Vice.
Okay.
And not that I regretted it, but I thought like, oh, this will be better for gaining experience working at Vice, which ended up maybe working out. But Vice then started VBS, which was the channel for the skate show. And they were like, hey, do you want to do a skate show? Which Jesse Pearson, who was the editor of Vice, was also one of the people launching the channel. And he's like, hey, they knew I worked at Thrasher and knew all the skating stuff. So they were like, could you do a skate show? And I was picturing like Nickelodeon Skate TV, which is a show I watched when I was a kid. Like, we're going to have little segments. You know, the show would be like, oh, we're here at Zoo York, and this is how they screen print a board. And now we're going to go drink with Dustin. And then now we're going to go kind of like a half-hour variety show. Like, now we're going to show you this video part or whatever. But it evolved into what it kind of turned into, I think, because of my interest in storytelling and maybe skate history, that the show looks different than what we kind of pictured at the beginning.
Yeah.
But I mean, the show always changes, but that's how I transitioned from Thrasher to Vice into the show. And a lot of it was just like lucky accidents.
Yeah. So the whole time from Thrasher to Vice, you're still living in New York.
I was living here, yeah.
You're still partying, and you're still just living the way that you were living around 26 years old. How was it working at, well, first of all, you said 10th and A. You lived around 10th and A. Was that, when you moved to New York, was that where you just started living at, or?
I first moved on Graham Avenue on the L train.
Yeah. And
this was a long time ago. I don't want to be like, but that's where I lived. It was a little different. I lived on 9th with the girlfriend. And that's where I lived, like September 11th. I lived there. And then me and that girlfriend broke up. And so I got a place. Dude, I don't remember. I lived with Tino's couch for a while. I was like homeless, kind of. Yeah. Like, I don't want to say like homeless the way we refer to homeless people, but I just, as a skate photographer, was just permanently couch surfing.
Yeah.
And I would go out into LA and stay with Reynolds or stay with Spanky on the couch. Come here, stay with Tino on the couch. And then at one point I got that apartment, and that apartment was like a bunk bed. Basically, I think I lived with Tino in Bushwick on the couch, and I got mugged, kind of. I got lightly mugged. I got intimidated out of some money, and I saw Leo Fitzpatrick, and I was like, dude, these kids just like took my money. And he's like, do you want to move into my old place? And he just handed me the key, and he's like, yeah, it's $750 a month. And it was a little room in the middle, so it had no natural light with like a bunk bed. So I had that place for a while. I don't know. And then, yeah, just couch surfed and shit.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I've lived in all kinds of different houses.
Was there ever a time where, because of the lifestyle you were living, working at Vice started to be a problem, or the same kind of way it happened with Thrasher?
No, but I did quit being the photo editor once my show started doing good, because I got paid. I basically got paid the same to do my show as be the photo editor, but the photo editor, I had to go in daily. And I was like, wow, if I cut my pay in half, I don't have to come in anymore. So I did it. So I was only the photo editor for like 6 months. And I was like, I'd rather just not come in and make way less money. And the show started doing good. And I never had any problems I can think of at Vice, because then I started to be freelance and not get so wrapped up in like office politics or something, or I don't know.
Yeah. So you start doing Epically Latered with Vice. Tell me about that. What was your idea for the show initially? So it was, I guess the foundation is the photos on the website, on the blog.
Yeah, so they wanted to call the show Epically Latered because the show got so many views, or sorry, the blog got so many views that they wanted to use the name. And I wanted to think of a new name for the show, but I ended up just being like, fine, I can't think of any other name. And part of me still hates the name. Or no, I don't hate it. I just get used to it. But
Well, where'd the name come from?
it was like a trip. So I went on a Thrasher trip with some friends of mine to Tampa Am. And we just kept saying it. You know, like, I don't know if you've been on a skate tour, but skate tours, you always end up with the lingo of the trip or the bullshit from the trip, like some inside jokes and stuff. And so Epically and Latered became our inside joke. So anything good that happened, we'd be like, epic, kind of ironically. Anything that bad happened, we'd say Latered. We'd be like, oh, it was so Latered. Or, oh. So then when I had to come up with the URL for my site, it was just what popped into my head, because I tried a couple URLs that failed, like the names were taken. Epically Latered was taken. Epically is spelled wrong, unintentionally. And it just, so of course the URL's not taken. And that just became, and so I kept wishing it was called something else, but I just wasn't imaginative enough. Like, I probably wanted to call this book something else. I just couldn't think of anything. Like, titles are hard. So that's why the show is called that.
Yeah.
And then I did a contract. I actually got a lawyer to do the contract. So somehow I was like clairvoyant and preserve the name. So when we started the book, I was like, I don't know if I'm allowed to call the book Epically Latered because Vice, it's a Vice show. So I've scrambled and went through I somehow found my contract, and it said the exceptions to the usage were a book or apparel. Not that I want to do a brand, an Epically Latered t-shirt company, but I was like, wow, I could make t-shirts if I want, or I could make books. And I think I carved that out because I always kind of thought I might do a book, and I did.
Mm-hmm. What they tell you to do? So you're doing this show now. Did they give you any guideline? Because it's based off your photos, but you know it's going to be a whole series. It's going to be video.
I don't know. The only good thing that happened is I think they started wanting me to do things that were more like advertorial, and I would say no. I'm like, I don't feel like it. And I realized that by having the name be sort of trademarked or separate, they couldn't force me. It was kind of like a perk. Mm-hmm. Like, because I avoided, there's episodes that have like sponsors, but they all come from a place of like, I wanted to do them anyway. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think you could easily have turned bad if we had called the show something else. I think it would have like drifted off. And because I'm kind of territorial over it, or I am like precious about it, to the point that there's been like long gaps in there even being a show, because for various reasons or whatever. So I don't think, and now I think Vice has changed hands so many times, and I think we're just kind of like, I don't usually have anyone telling me anything that I know that I can think of.
Yeah. But your vision for the show when you started was just kind of, we're going to show a day in the life of skateboarders, probably as unfiltered as you can, but there's still some stuff that you're filtering.
Yeah, I think my initial idea of the show was, originally it was like a skate TV, like a variety show. And then it became like Dana Life's, like the Dustin Dolan one was just, let's just meet up with Dustin. And we did one with like Neck Face early on. That's just like, look at this crazy guy, Braden, Billy Rohan. Yeah, it would just be a day. And then I think it was Jason Dill's episode where I realized we digitized the 101 video. And I was like, wow. And I called World Industries and I was like, is it okay if we use this video, put this video? And they didn't care. I was like, wow, we can like show these old videos? And this was before YouTube or early YouTube. So those videos weren't on YouTube. So I was like, wow, we're uncovering these like VHS tapes. And then we started interviewing extra people like Dustin's. I don't know. I don't rewatch the old episodes, but a lot of the old episodes didn't even have a lot of extra people in them. And then what I think now currently is there's so many things that could be similar to Epically Later that we've had to kind of pivot a little bit in order to differentiate. You know, there's like Out There that Thrasher does, and there's Pocket Mag does something called Followed. Mm-hmm. And not that I'm I don't know. I've just had to like pivot, go like, how do we make this not look like those?
Yeah.
And come up with different strategy. I don't know. And so now I really like the supplementary interviews. I think without them, it's difficult. Like I think a day in a life's like not kind of what I want to be doing. But so with like Ben Cato's episode, that was one day. Or actually it was kind of a day and a half. But by piling in all the extra interviews, I think it could like differentiate itself from like a day in a life.
Yeah.
And but they're not documentaries either. I mean, they're kind of documentaries, but they're not like definitive either. I don't know. They're somewhere between a documentary and a day in a life. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Sometimes when you do them like the person has a little bit of experience in their life, like they're not like 20 or something.
But yeah, I never want them to be like, I mean, I don't mind, but there's holes in them.
Yeah.
Like I want them to feel spontaneous and that maybe there's always more you could talk about or that you could do another one or that person could go do something else. I don't want to like make them so like, here's the definitive Ben Cato documentary.
Yeah, yeah.
Or here's the Nuge documentary. Because I think a lot of the episodes that are a little more dated, that person could go, like, I think there should be like a for real John Cardiel documentary. And like we did our thing. Or that's what I also kind of think of it as. It's like, okay, these are little time capsules. We'll do the best we can, but we're also going to like knock them out. We're going to do our best. But at the end of the month, we're going to move on and do the next one. So they have like a magazine feel and a moment in time feel. But yeah, I don't know if that makes sense.
No, yeah.
It's like a documentary, but kind of not.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I feel when I'm watching them.
Yeah.
It's like a mini documentary, a day in the life, mix of all of that. But is it weird to show the life of all these people, especially some people, like they're going through shit, or some people are like in the middle of that party, sex, drugs, rock and roll type of lifestyle? Is it weird to, I guess, film that?
Yeah, you know, I think I've matured as I've gone, and I try to catch people in a good place. Because early on, I think I wouldn't mind the shit show. Now I know, because the episodes have gotten bigger, like more work, I take more seriously the undertaking going into it. And so there's some people I want to work on episodes with, but I need to like talk to them first about what I'm allowed to talk about and not allowed to talk about, because that could factor in my decision whether we even do it at all. Like personal stuff. Because I did one with Brian Anderson, and at the time he didn't want to talk about being gay. And I was like, okay. And then in retrospect, I was like, I should have I mean, it's not up to me. I'm not outing somebody. But I was kind of like, why didn't we just wait or not do it? And I've dealt with skaters that were kind of going through things. basically, I want to have an outline of the episode before I start, because I've had people start worrying. I guess they all do. Everyone has, like, even doing this interview now, I have things I don't want to talk about, but I don't think you know what they are. No one knows what they are, but I would start an episode and try to figure out what we're dealing with first. Like, even when I did Ali Bulala, Ali was like, we had DM'd, or he commented on one of my videos, like, I would do an episode, but it would be depressing as fuck. And I think I just immediately like emailed him or texted him like, do you really want to do an episode? And if so, would you talk about the accident where Shane Cross died? And he said, yes. But if he was like, no, I don't want to talk about that, then I think I would struggle to be able to make something comprehensive. So, and I've had other skaters that's come up, and I have someone I want to do an episode on that where I have to have that call, like, hey, are you going to be able to talk about this thing that people don't know about? And then if they say no, then I have to kind of think about whether I could make, I don't know. People now, like I said, I don't want to make they don't have to be completely comprehensive, but there's a certain amount where I'm going to get called out if we skip some shit.
But do you feel weird asking someone that, like, are you down to talk about the shit you're trying to hide from the whole world? And then subsequently, if you're not down to talk about that shit, then not that you're saying it this way, but I'm not down to even make the fucking Epically Latered. Does that feel weird?
It does feel weird.
Because I'm thinking about that shit from my perspective. Like,
yeah.
Hey, Patrick, let's talk about your deepest secret, right? That is whatever. But if you're not down, then let's not do it. I would feel very strange, you know? But I think in terms of producing the art and journalism, mini documentary, day in the life, telling the truth, that is a part of it that should be there. Is like, we're going to be real. We're going to be real here. But being real when a ton of motherfuckers are going to watch is two different things, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. It is a tough conversation. Yeah, it's weird because I don't want to like threaten it. But also, people aren't always dying to do Epically Later. It's like I'm always twisting their arms anyway. But I'm trying to think, like with the Aves episode, it was like, we're going to have to talk about like drugs and stuff. Like, and it was a conversation. Like I had to call Anthony and be like, what are the ground rules? Like, what do you want to, like, where are we going to land? And there's some episodes coming out with like a lot of that. A lot of where are we going to land? Because also the show is focused on skateboarding. So the drugs are mostly interesting in relationship to someone's like absence from skateboarding. So if you're going to talk about like, why do you only have one trick in this video? Or like, what the fuck happened in this phase here? The Drunkalog stories only work if it somehow like ties back to skating in some way, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I've had other ones. No, never mind. But I don't know, like Bam Margera. I did an episode on him, and it's all skate focused. But he mentioned a couple issues about himself, but it was a little bit in passing, and it was a little bit like, I don't need the full deep dive into his MTV career, and there should be a Bam Margera feature-length documentary, absolutely. But ours was let's talk about Toy Machine and the CKY videos and Jackass maybe as it pertains to skating, or Viva La Bam as it pertains to skating, and then how you're skating now and your current interest in skating. So you kind of yada, yada, yada through the MTV stuff, because a lot of that, and I'm sure Bam's story, I know for a fact, Bam's story would be fascinating and interesting stories outside of skating, but we kind of like rein it in because our show is skate focused.
But why do you have to rein it in if Bam Margera is a skate icon? Wouldn't then everything that he's doing relate to skating in a way?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, but maybe a better example is like, what if it was someone who's a musician and then they're talking about like music store? I don't know. Like, I just feel like the show's anchored in skateboarding.
Yeah.
And you don't want to drift too far off the main thing that we're here for. So I don't know if that makes sense. Like,
No, I get it.
Like we want to touch on them, but we don't want to like, it's too, how far down the rabbit hole you want to go. I try to kind of keep it back into skate if I can.
Yeah.
And so sometimes people, I think that was the thing I thought with Brian Anderson's. I was like, you know what? Him being gay is not really relevant to this, to skateboarding. I don't interview people's girlfriends or boyfriends very often. So if he's not going to talk about being gay, well, so what? Like, what does that have to do with skating?
Yeah.
So I think I just almost just took the stance like, we don't talk about like Nuge's girlfriend in his episode. Why are we going to talk about Brian's boyfriend in his episode? But then it was just later when Giovanni Retta made the piece about Brian, I got a little jealous. Like, oh man, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get professionally jealous sometimes.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
You're like, oh, I wish we had that.
Yeah.
Not a disrespect to Retta and his piece because it was great. But I watch like almost every skate documentary. And I often feel not jealous, but like jealous is the wrong word, but yeah, like professional sort of like being envious, like, oh man, I wish we had done that.
Yeah. Well, where do you think how do you view your career path and how do you view Epically Later now that you've been doing it for quite a while? And I mean, it's known as fuck. You know, when I think of just being real, like when I think of skate, mini doc, day in the life, that category, the first one I think of is Epically Later. It's almost like, for me, it's become kind of like it's just like a word now. It's like a noun. Like it's like Google something. It's like an action. I don't know if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like now Google is like a fucking verb.
Mm-hmm.
And like for me, Epically Later just stands for this whole slew of things. So I like for Living Proof, we want to do like some interesting day in the lifestyle shit. We want to do some, and always the one that I'm going to reference is, oh, well, how did Epically Later do it? Like how did blah, blah, blah. So how do you think you landed?
Well, I think we had lucky misfortune. Like there were times where Vice wasn't doing the show and wasn't returning my calls or like interested, where I was mad or I was like, I want to keep doing these. What the fuck? Why are you doing other shit that's not my shit? Like I'm like mad. But in the course of time, I think that kind of prevented us from like burnout and playing ourselves out and circling the drain. So I've treated it now much more like a hobby. And I've worked whatever. I've worked jobs, it's like skate industry jobs that are like behind the scenes and like you actually have to do shit, and have freelanced and done, like photography jobs or video jobs or commercial work, or I did whatever. I've done other shit. And so now I look at Epically Later as something I kind of treasure and enjoy. And I treat it a little bit like a hobby. And the new era of it is this episode since the Nuge episode. And those have all been with Heath Kirchart and Kynan Tate, who films. And I think together as a group, I enjoy it because it's like I get to go on these trips with my friends. And I think I talked to Heath and Kai, and they feel the same way. Kai has a job working on like films. Like he has a monthly, I don't know. He works on movies. So he has a movie day job, and Heath does a lot of his own stuff that sometimes it's hard to schedule our schedule. But I think there was a couple things that happened that were a little stressful. And I don't know, like, or maybe we were like not feeling good about it. Like just, I don't know how to explain it, but we're all of a sudden like any job, you're like, oh God, like, and I was like, let's just take a step back. And if we don't want to do something, we won't do it. And if we do want to do it, we'll do it. And if you want to take a break for 6 months, we'll take a break for 6 months, because I like working with Heath and Kai and the people at Vice that work there now. Let's just treat this like it's fun and a hobby, and we don't. And sometimes that makes me be precious about it, because there's strategies for like engagement on the internet, and there's ways to like monetize things, or I don't know, like basically there's ways to like ruin it for yourselves that can be tempting. Like, let's make a bunch of merch, which I don't want to joke about making merch, because we could easily be like, oh, fuck it, let's make trucker hats, fuck it. But we've avoided. So I don't want to stake a claim that we would never do that, when suddenly I'm going to be like, dude, let's make a fucking hoodie. But I'm like, let's avoid things that are going to make us hate this, or feel like it's a grind, or feel like we're chasing. So that's what I kind of told them. I was like, let's just like pick episodes we're passionate about. And if the inconsistency hurts us, or we have to go get day jobs or do other shit, we'll do other shit, because right now this is like fun for us. Mm-hmm. So let's just keep it fun and not be like mad.
And there was a time where it wasn't.
No, there was just something came up that we were like either disappointed about, or I don't know, or like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, you go like, hey, this company wants you to make one on their guys, and then we're not feeling it. And then we go like, well, it would be good if we could show profitability, or we could, plus we get people, you just get shit that happens that's no fun. Mm-hmm. In anything. And I'm just like, let's just keep it fun.
Yeah. I think that when you keep it like that, you probably give the best product anyways.
Yeah. Like, let's just keep it fun. And then I was like, also, I'm worried because Vice seems like they're doing good now, but there was like a big bankruptcy story and all this stuff. And that was right when Aves was getting made. And I was like, and Ben's. And I was like, please let Aves and Ben's come out. Like, I don't want to work on something that I'm like so passionate about and then have them vanish. So that was the other thing. It was like, let's just enjoy the opportunity while we have it, and not, I mean, like, I don't know. There's like your work that you do. There's like your commercial work or your jobby job shit. Let's keep Vice in the like, this is like a fishing trip for us or something. Like, cause Heath and Kai and I, we've gone on like motorcycle trips or boat trips or like hiking trip. Like, we just do shit. Like as friends, you just go like, and I have little goal, like I want to climb Half Dome, and I'm like, that's like a little goal of mine. And I treat like the Bobby Pulio episode as like or any of the recent ones as like, it's like an adventure. It's like fun.
Yeah.
Not something to like stress out about.
Yeah, you thoroughly enjoy it.
Yeah.
What is Heath doing for it?
Heath's job?
Yeah.
Oh, he's always doing something.
In terms of part of
because the reason we hired him is because he was doing, I mean, he's so secretive. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but he was doing movie production also as like a kind of like a PA. That's like a job. Mm-hmm. So that was why we started talking about production. And then Kai, my friend, does movie production. And him and Kai both have interest in working on films. And so Heath, as a day job, was working on like production. I mean, he's kind of like a PA. And then Kai is like PA. Like he's not doing cinematography, I think, for his day job. But then this was an opportunity for them to kind of grow and be. So Heath's a producer, which I think he could. I don't know if he cares, but he could be a producer on real jobs. And Kai is a. I wish I knew more about these guys, what they fucking do. Because I FaceTime Kai, and he's always got like a headset on, and he's in a like a production trailer, like loading tape and like on a walkie-talkie doing shit. And Heath, same shit.
Yeah.
So they have jobs, and this is our get together. So now we're supposed to go shoot something, but we can't fucking get 2 weeks where we're all not doing something.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think dude, I honestly think that you do such a good job with Epically Latered, from the first episode to the one that was the most recent one, Bobby
Puleo.
Yeah. They're all great. They're all great. And I think they're all iconic. And I think they do, it's like a service to the skate scene and also the skateboarder being featured. For real. Like every single one I've watched, I'm like, oh, that dude's sick.
Yeah,
even if I didn't even think about them before that, I'm like, oh, that dude's sick.
Those are the ones that feel the best, because Bobby was like an icon in skating to me, and I look up to him in a lot of ways. And he's so strange and interesting and unique and like philosophical about skateboarding that I was like, I have to put this down on. I have to like, or if he's willing, I want to like document this for future generations. Because like I was saying before off camera, I guess, is some of these icons to us, these people can be like totally forgotten. And I want to make sure, because I think about the longevity of the episodes too. I'm like, somebody's going to watch this in the future.
100%.
Like we're all going to be dead. I hope. I don't know. I don't know if that's gassing myself up too much, but I'm like, somebody in 100 years needs to watch. If humanity exists, somebody can watch and understand that maybe Bobby had a big influence on a direction that skating went, the way you might care about other sports.
Yeah.
And I've had subjects, people I would do an episode on that died, or stories I didn't know about and then I missed. And so our next episode is Alexis Sablone, and I don't know what the views are going to be or whether it'll be like a smashing success or something, but I'm watching Roughs and I hope it's good and I hope people like it, but I'm just like, this is mandatory. This isn't like a choice. This isn't like, I'm like, Alexis Sablone is one of the most important skaters in our sport who maybe has been overlooked a little bit. I mean, I think the real skaters know about her. Like, I'm not saying I'm showcasing someone that nobody's ever heard of, but like, I'm just like, this is important. This story is important. And this sort of like, these like gender issues are important in skating. I need to make this like, I don't know. I just, and I felt that way about in my show that the episodes I'm most proud of, or maybe Eric Dressen's, maybe Alyssa Steamer's, definitely John Cardiel's, because I felt like, I mean, it sounds corny to act like I had any, okay. I don't have anything to do with those people's successes, but helping to package it to show people that are maybe casuals, like casual into skating, and go, hey, everyone, these people are important to our sport or our art form or whatever, that it feels good. It feels good to like help elevate somebody or put all their parts together and kind of, and even like we were talking about Ben Cato, it's like, I fucking love his skating. It just feels, I don't know, man, I'm trying to walk a line between acting like doing anything for these people, like they're doing something for me.
Yeah.
Or do you know what I'm saying? Like,
I think it's
I don't
mutually-
want to act like Epically Latered is some sick platform for us.
But I think that it is.
But I enjoy, because I've observed recently that I have an antiquated vision of what skateboarding is, maybe, that skateboarding has grown and moved on and changed. But I have this way of looking at skateboarding and pros that I admire and these like individuals that I think are important. So there's a little bit of a bias in who we pick skaters.
Of course.
But I'm just like, fuck yeah, Nuge. Let's like talk about Nuge or Stefan Janowski or people that I think are rad that had like this big contribution. Let's like knock something out so that I hope that in 10, 20, 30, 100 years, people can watch them.
Yeah, I think they will. And I think that Epically Latered is a platform for skaters. I think that it is mutually beneficial. Like they are doing something for you and they're doing something for Epically Latered, but you're also doing something for them. And I think that it's, it's really good. I think that you've done, I was just reading through the list of some of the people you've done, like Antoine Dixon, Jim Greco, Arto Sari, Bam Margera, Chad Muska, so many. Which one stands out?
Well, there's missing ones that I'm working on finding. There's like episodes because all the early episodes were on VBS TV and they migrated them to YouTube. So everyone watched them on a Vice platform, but some of them didn't make it over to YouTube and they're like fucking missing. And so I'm hoping to go get them or like find them. I put some on a separate YouTube channel, but I know like Mike Carroll's episodes like half missing. It's all the Lakai year episodes. Basically, there was a set of Lakai episodes that didn't make it to YouTube. I'm hoping to go get them. I don't know which ones stand out though. I don't watch the old ones, and every time I do, I like get depressed because I'm like they're not as good as I thought they were. I'm always like, oh God, this is so bad. So I can't. So sometimes I'm remembering my feeling when I put them out and how proud I was of putting them out. And then in hindsight, they're like shitty. And I don't want to face that.
They might be shitty to you, but someone watches them and they're not shitty to them.
So I'm always on to the next one. So right now, all I'm thinking about is the Alexis Sablone episode.
Mm-hmm.
And when we can get it up. And I'm going to get a final cut on, not a final, but a semi-final cut on Friday. So I'm like, can't wait to see that cut. I've like done thinking about the previous ones. And then we have the one after that that'll go to edit. And I'm like, okay, I hope it's going to be good.
Yeah.
What do we need? What do we need to make it good?